Hello. This is the Paul and Stephen podcast show. Hello, everybody. This is the first for us, actually. We have a very special guest with us, a guy called Tahir Majita. I think I said that right. I hope I did, Tahir.
That's fine.
He is one of our friends, a long-term friend of Stephen, Leckie, and he's been invited onto our show for us to share our views. I'd like to introduce you, Tahir, and hear a little bit about yourself, please.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I didn't know that I'm the first guest on the show, so thanks a lot. I'm Tahir Majiti. I'm a real estate consultant. I run a small boutique company, Prime Capital Real Estate, and I've been in Dubai now for over 10 years doing real estate, originally from India, so used to do real estate back there, and now over here, so over 20 years of real estate experience in general.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And a quick intro from you, Stephen, because they do know you.
They do know me, yes. I'm glad I've got a minute to explain that I'm Stephen Leckie, and I have been here in Dubai since 2003. It's my 21st year, and I work in real estate at Haus with young Paul Sharland over there.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Stephen. Okay, what we thought we would do, and it's just for a bit of interest between the three of us and for our listeners, hopefully they'd be interested. Stephen came here in 2003. I came here in 2005. I think Tahir came here around 2012. And we're just going to say what was our first property that we actually sold in Dubai. So I'm going to start with Tahir. What was your very first property?
It was JVC one bed.
JVC one bed? Yes. What developer?
It was Plaza.
How much?
At that time, it was around 650,000, if I'm not mistaken.
650, and I bet it was, 800-900 square feet?
Yeah, about 900 square foot.
Yeah, so what, 500-600 a square foot? Yeah, sounds about right. Stephen?
My first property was a Type 3E in Al Reem 1.
I remember it. You were quite stressed.
And interesting, you know who the seller was?
Yes. Is he a big developer?
He's a very big developer now. Yes. Rahul from Select.
Yeah.
And he was the seller. I don't remember who I sold it to, but I know that there were a few things that were moving along.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a difficult sale.
Yes.
But that was my first one, a 3E corner unit in Al Reem 1. And I think it was about 1 million, maybe 1.1 million.
Okay. My first property was a 4E in the Springs. And it was.
And I remember this one very well.
And it was a corner plot on the lake.
Yeah.
And it sold for $1,050,000.
It was the first.
And it was the first Type 4 Springs to sell over 1 million dirhams. Right. The OP was 600, I think. Really big plot. They could have built a 5-bed on there.
Yes.
And nobody could believe anyone would pay $1 million for a Type 4 at the time. Mm-hmm. And then anybody who went to see it was shit. No, sorry. But yes, now I know why they would have bought this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was that's quite good to know.
It would sell today at what?
What do you reckon? 3 million?
3 plus.
3 plus, yeah.
Was it on the lake?
It was on the lake. More. It would have been extended probably at least 2 or 3 times by now.
Massive garden.
Massive.
Yeah.
And what's the name? Do you remember the buyer?
I remember
his name.
The seller.
Give us his initials. Oh, the seller.
It was the very difficult gentleman, wasn't it?
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah,
yes.
we better not mention that name.
So our first deals were very difficult.
Yes, they were. Yes,
and it doesn't really get any easier, does it?
No, and also incidentally, I think we've all. I'm not sure about yours to here, but mine was a resale, and so was Stephen's. And when I first came in, my first 3 deals were resales, and
for me also it was resale.
Yeah, they put me off resales for about 100 years.
Yes.
I've done one since, but it still took a lot of therapy.
He still doesn't know how to do them.
No, I still don't know how to do them. No. Anyway, thank you for that. Our next subject, which we thought would be interesting for us all. We're just going to do a little opinion piece. So based on these budgets, I'm going to ask both Stephen and Tahir. So on a budget of 1 million, 5 million and 10 million, this is for a pure investor. So Tahir, I'm an investor. I've got 1 million dirhams. I want you to sell me something today. What are you going to sell me?
I would still recommend a JVC one bed in a good development.
JVC one bed, good development. Thank you very much. Stephen?
One bed. Possibly a 1 bed in JVT from a good developer, and there are very few good developers in JVT. So one of the 3 developers I could recommend at JVT, or possibly a studio in Business Bay from the Road. Fully furnished. Yeah, I like that. What else is there to offer on a 1 million? Obviously, there's things in JVC and Arjan, and yeah, that's about it, I think.
Okay, thank you. Mine would be a 1 bed in Arjan, so we don't have to continue with that. Right, to here, 5 million dirhams.
5 million dirhams. If maybe a Six Senses
Yep.
bedroom if you could get something
Yep.
there. That is something which I really
Six
like.
Senses where?
Dubai Marina.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
amazing payment plan.
amazing
40,
payment
60.
plan. So especially with the payment plan for investors, that's really amazing.
I'll tell you what it is to hear. What's your opinion on this? I've explained this to people how I'm struggling with some of the prices in Ras Al Khaimah. Different subject, but you can relate to
Yes.
it. So if when they launched Six Senses in Dubai Marina, not everybody's a fan of Dubai Marina, but it's still a trophy asset. It's
is.
still very
It's
well
still a
regarded.
popular location.
Yeah. So Six Senses is one of the best brands in the world.
Yes.
I could not get my head round how you could sell Six Senses in Dubai Marina for 3,000 dirhams a square foot, and you could pay the same price in Ras Al Khaimah with just a normal developer in
Absolutely.
a small emirate. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I mean, look,
It does make sense or it doesn't?
It does make sense, right? Because it makes sense to invest in Six Senses than Ras Al Khaimah.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, exactly.
It's basically, it makes me see how good Six Senses is
it's-
and how mad Rack is.
It's a very simple logic. Today, when you talk about Dubai Marina, you're talking about a fully matured community in Dubai, one of the most populated communities in Dubai, and people around the world know it.
And
right?
a proven developer.
And a proven developer and a proven hospitality brand. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. With Ras Al Khaimah, I would say it's a new emirate. Still, we don't know what the rentals are going to be, what the occupancy is going to be. So there's still a certain risk element there. And yes, if I was getting Ras Al Khaimah at 1,500 dirhams a square foot for the kind of properties, I would say, okay,
I'm
yes.
the same as you.
know?
I think it should be 1,500 to 2,000.
To 2,000, yeah, depending on the developer and
Yeah.
quality. But the prices of, because some of the launches which are happening are selling at, prices as close to Emaar Beachfront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm a little bit lost with it, but
Yeah.
obviously someone knows something that
Yes.
that some of us don't. Stephen, you've got 5 million dirhams. What do you sell me?
I would think about certainly a 3-bedroom in Expo.
Yeah.
Possibly two bedrooms or 1 bedroom and a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
In Expo.
Anything in Expo, I would say.
Yes,
Yes.
that's basically what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Anything, yeah.
Almost anything in
Yes,
Expo.
yes.
Yeah.
I'd rather have larger units because I think it's more of a family-orientated development and project. Great payment plan, great quality, good sizes, and a very exciting community, which is very close to the new airport, etc. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm obviously in close agreement as well. You know what we think of Expo. Also, as well, I would include in that any of the new Emaar communities in the new airport, Dubai South area. And the last one, and I think this one would probably be the easiest for the three of us. Tahir, I've got 10 million dirhams. What do I buy?
A good standalone villa. Something like the Oasis or Acres,
Yeah.
New good communities by good developers. That's
What
something
could you buy
which
an
is-
Oasis for 10 mil?
You could get a 4-bed.
You can?
Yeah.
And what's the availability like?
It keeps coming and going.
Yes.
Depends on the time when you're buying.
Right.
But yeah, there are some 9.5.
No, I
So
know.
four
I'm
beds, yeah.
yeah. So Oasis is by Emaar,
Yeah.
and that's also
Well,
getting.
here's a question. This is just personal opinion. You could buy a Maha in Expo for 12 million.
Yes.
You could buy an Oasis for 12 million. What would you buy? Now, it's
Considering
gonna be personal preference.
considering the payment plan,
Yeah.
and I would go with Maha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
In
the
Expo.
the excitement factor.
and the
Exactly.
uniqueness of
Uniqueness.
it. Very
and
unique.
one big factor is if you compare Oasis and Maha, then the number of units in Maha are way lesser than Oasis.
Yeah.
So I think that also will stand out over a period of time.
But I know that Oasis is going to do
Look,
incredibly
yes,
well.
it will. But factoring in the payment plan, I think yes.
Yeah.
What's the payment plan on Oasis? Is it 80-20?
It's 80, I think it's 80.
Oasis is 80-20, Acres is 65-35.
Yeah.
And Maha is 70-30, but it's 2 years
2 years
post-handover,
post-handover.
isn't it? Yeah.
Good sizes, good
Yeah.
quality, underground parking. Mind you, got underground parking Oasis, haven't you? Or not? No?
No.
There's no basement?
Not sure.
Who's got a basement? Oh, Dubai South.
Yeah.
Yeah. South Bay.
Yes.
They've got basements, haven't they? Yeah. Very good. So, so what do we agree? We agreed that all of us would buy a standalone villa for 10 million.
I think just the facts which we've said before, but these just confirming and repeating of the 100% properties in Dubai, 87% are apartments, 8% are townhouses, and 5% are standalone villas. So just with the simple facts and data right in front of you, if you're an investor with the financial backing, you just buy as many villas as you can buy in Dubai. I mean, you could simplify it like
Yes.
that, because I think we could. I mean, to me, Emaar have effectively said, with what they're doing around the new airport, we will carry on building homes, townhouses and villas until we've got enough, whether it's 5,000, 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000. And they've got the land there to do it, which is barren wasteland. All they're going to do is make that area fantastic and amazing. I think that's what Emaar would do. They're effectively taking over that area. That's how it looks to me.
Yes.
What do you think, Tahir?
It does, absolutely. With Oasis, then you have the new wellness and Heights, and plus another master community coming by Emaar, and then on the other side you have Emaar South. So you already have 4.
And interestingly, they're all going to appeal to different pockets as well, different budgets.
Yes, obviously, look, Emaar is not going to compete with its own product, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to make an Oasis opposite an Oasis. So if you see that way, it's.
But they will, if they will launch other developments and communities up there, and each one will be a comparable but more expensive than the previous one.
Yes,
for sure. So there's growth there. I mean, that's the one thing that Emaar are very good at, protecting investors. But it sounds like this is the Emaar show. So there are other well-known developers out there.
Yeah.
In terms of villas, I think Meras, I like that. Shoba, Shoba Reserve, I believe, has got another.
Yeah, Shoba
Reserve 2 or something similar. Who else is there?
And then you have these, other developers coming up with small communities in District 11 in Medan.
District 11,
Ellington.
This is where I think we can see the trend going, because we've got Omniac now saying they want to do a community, a full community.
Yes.
We've got Ellington speaking about doing a full community. And I think that is where it's going with the established big private developers, like Select have done it with Peninsula. You can see, I don't know, like Ellington was obvious really, if you think Select have done it. Omniac was obvious. Like who do you think could be next? Who's capable, a big, good private developer of actually building a community? Because that looks like that's where it's going. Like we're going to build our own community, which is going to offer everything to what we think our clientele are going to want.
You haven't mentioned Damac.
Okay, would you like to talk about Damac?
Not really.
Would you, Tahir?
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe we might cut that out. But they are the largest private developer, and they are doing lots of villas and townhouses.
I'd like to ask you to hear. So I did. We discussed this before, but I want your opinion. So we did. I got the figures done on the amount of units in Dubai Hills, in Arjan and JVC, which I should know off the top of my head by now, and they were very, very interesting. For instance. I'll give you an idea. So Dubai Hills, there's obviously no studios. There's a lot of one beds, but they're quite evenly split between the 2s and the 3s.
Yes.
Now the interesting one is Arjan and JVC. In JVC, under construction and completed, there's 40,000 studios and one beds. There's 7,000 2 beds. There's 1,000 3 beds.
Yeah.
In Arjan, there's 13,000 studios and one beds. There's 1,000 2 beds. There's 300 3 beds. So to me, there's a massive undersupply of 3-bed units in Dubai. 100%. Now, when you look at that area of Arjan, there's more international schools on that corridor than any other part of Dubai.
Absolutely.
With all the families moving to Dubai who are going to want ideally a townhouse, aren't going to be able to afford a townhouse, their next choice is a 3-bed apartment. All the developers keep building lots of studios and one beds. So when these developers realise there's this massive shortfall of bigger units for families, starter families, new families, that's what they should be building. If a developer built bigger units in Arjan now, I think it'd be an absolute amazing success.
I totally agree with this, because what's happening is today, if you want to buy a townhouse, first of all, you drive like from the center, you drive easily 30 minutes away and still get a townhouse for a minimum of 2.5 million, even in the already, secondary market.
And a very small living area.
Yeah, and a small living area. Yeah. And not really, you would commute a lot. Now, if someone wants to stay in the city, like 10, 15 minutes from most of the, like downtown Marina, Business Bay areas, then JVC, Arjan, these are the best bets. And I feel there's literally, if a developer comes up with a building or a community where it's 2 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms, I think that would really sell.
Yeah.
What do you tell people the differences between Arjan, JVC, and JVT? I know what Paul does. I'm just interested to hear what you have to say.
Look, I would say Arjan as a community, I feel, is a nicer community as far as the master. The
what makes it
layout
nicer?
Is it's more closer, but JVC is more popular. JVC, because of I personally, I've always believed that JVC has so much has a lot of stakeholders in JVC. And when I say stakeholders, means there's so many developers invested in JVC that automatically JVC is marketed more, which has created more demand from buyers and tenants both. So popularity wise, JVC is more popular. Yes, I would say Arjan is more better as a location because more closer to Dubai Hills, and even if you want to get to say Mall of Emirates, it's more closer.
What about JVT?
JVT is an amazing community, but somehow JVT I think never got the kind of is still underrated and undervalued as compared to JVC. I feel it's a better community on the whole. I feel because less number of buildings, more number of villas.
It's got more potential, hasn't it? Because they've got more land to make less mistakes.
Yes,
they can plan it better now,
and they've got a mall and a metro station coming.
And the thing with JVT is one community which from a lot of years most of the land is actually built because there are more villas and townhouses.
Villas,
and there are very few buildings, so that way it's more developed if you see proportion wise.
Those villas are expensive now, aren't they?
Yes, because they were massive plots.
Yeah, what were they originally, those prices? They were about $1 million.
Oh, the JVT
800 to $1 million.
The plots were massive.
Yeah, 7,000,
8,000, 9,000.
And what are they selling for now?
I think last I checked was around 4 plus. Yeah.
For a 2-bed.
For a 2-bed, where the built-up was
don't surprise
less,
me.
but
Don't surprise me.
those plots were big.
Yeah.
Crying out for refurbishment.
Yes.
Yeah, because you could turn that, you could extend and
you could
so
extend, make it into a 4 or 5 bed.
Massive gardens. Yeah.
But I think also one more thing which you said, Paul, is what I'm also seeing is the appreciation in the 2 beds and 3 beds is far more than the 1 beds and
100%.
studios. So when investors are coming, I mean, even I'm telling them, look, if you take a 2 bed or 3 bed, the chances of appreciation are.
If you're looking for rent, just purely rental yield, you
and,
look at
and also, what happens is in most of the developments, also the 2 and the 3 beds are located the best within the building.
Yes.
So
best views.
The thing is, for years and years, it's like because people don't realise this. So, for instance, they say they're going to hand over 200,000 units in the next 5 years, or 30 to 60,000, or whatever. Now, people just go, "Oh, right, okay, well that'd be okay." Now, what people don't realise, right? Say they do hand over 200,000 units. 150,000 of those are going to be studios and 1 beds.
Yes.
So this gap for the bigger units is getting bigger, and we're telling people now you've got to start building bigger units.
100%.
But I don't know if they're going to listen or not. But it's obvious that if you're a family and obviously you want to live in a nice townhouse, but you can't afford it, the next option, obviously, the only option is a 3-bed apartment. Or if you have to really squeeze it, you go into a 2-bed.
And if you see, the bigger developers such as Ema, Damac, they're coming up with townhouses and villas more than the apartment launches if you see in the last few years. So obviously they've done a research more than what you and me would have done. And the reason they were also building these villas and townhouses is because they know that there's a demand for that. And they know exactly the gap in the market, and that's what they're doing.
So why aren't developers in JVC and Arjan, etc., why aren't they building?
Look, probably what happens is because for a lot of private developers, they probably they're scared. They're like, okay, studios are easy to sell.
Units.
We'll just sell studios and 1 beds, and
they sell them for higher price per square foot.
Yeah, they do. But at the same time,
then the build cost is high.
The build cost is higher too. So it's literally offsetting the same thing.
It's nothing to do with parking or anything like that.
I'll give you an example to here, and this summed it up for me. So one of our colleagues, they had a client. All she wanted to be was near to the school. She wanted a townhouse, and Tilal Al Gaf was as far as she'd go. So she went to Tilal Al Gaf, had a look at the townhouses. Just thought they were ridiculously small.
Yes.
So anyway, she said, "Oh look, I would consider an apartment." Anyway. So she said, if I'm in an apartment, it has to be 3-bed, has to be big, has to be high floor. Anyway, took her to Arjan. Her school is in Arjan. The Ellington building, the Harbour View, is literally opposite. So originally she wanted a 3-bed townhouse near to the school, or worst case scenario, a 3-bed high floor apartment. She bought a 3-bed ground floor apartment, and the school is literally a 3-minute walk across the park. She's the happiest person in the world.
Absolutely.
And she hasn't even bought what she wanted to buy just because of the school. And the school run in Dubai, it's going to become more and more of a problem.
Yes.
It's going to be a big problem soon, because the distances what people are traveling, the traffic is increasing.
It can take your whole day.
Yeah, it can. And look, the thing is, as the city grows, the population grows, obviously the traffic will grow. So considering that, I think everybody living, would want a school close to them.
Because you think it's just the same as UK and Europe. When I was growing up, my parents, they bought a house near to the local grammar school.
I mean, look, even from I'm from Bombay.
You've got 2 kids. You've got 2. Where are they at school?
Right now, the school is in Barsha, but I'm moving them closer.
And how are they getting to school every morning?
I drop them and they come back by bus. So my drive previously, I would say up until last year, used to be morning 15 to 17 minutes, which has gone up to now about 25.
Really?
Sometimes if it's,
And what about them coming home?
Coming home also has extended by about 10 minutes now.
So what time do they finish school?
They finish school at around 2:30, and by the time they get home, previously it used to be 3:30, now they're back by 3:40.
And what are you paying to get the bus?
The bus, I pay about, I think it's 2,000 dirhams a quarter.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
one term, not quarter,
crazy.
a term.
That's not crazy then.
Yeah,
Is that for both of them?
No, one child. So it's 6,000 a year, one way,
For one child?
one child.
Right. So going back to this things with the schools and the school runs, etc. So we know they're building more schools because we speak to all the relocation companies and we speak to the people who are building the schools. I actually had a meeting 2 weeks ago with one of the guys who's in charge of building quite a lot of the new schools. He's actually the project manager, and he said they can't actually build the schools quick enough.
Yes.
So we also speak to the schools, and we know that the schools which are operating have got the longest waiting lists they've ever had. I've said this many times, but I don't know if you've heard me say it. You know, when I moved here in 2005, there was 17 international schools.
I don't think Tahir has ever listened to you before.
Hasn't he? Okay.
No.
I have some.
Oh, thank
You have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
The whole thing?
Secretly,
Part
at
of
night,
it,
secretly at night when everyone's in bed. So, so there was 17 international schools in 2005. Now there's 220.
Absolutely.
Now they're building more schools than they've ever built before. Nearly all of the schools they're building, they're not non-profit, they're businesses.
Yes.
Now we know they're not going to build schools unless they think they're going to get the pupils.
100%.
Right. So they're building the schools for the pupils. Where are these well, they're building the townhouses, but the expensive ones. Where are these 2 and 3 bed apartments for all these families going to move over to go to those schools in that area? That's what I'm saying. There's a gap in the market there.
There's a big gap in the market. There's a big gap in the market right now. I think, what has happened is after COVID, a lot of people have started making either very large spaces, like the really high-end properties and the bigger spaces, and the people who are making the affordable JVC Arjan, they've stuck to the same thing what they were making pre-COVID. I haven't come across a developer who's making some, a 2-bed 1,500 square foot or a 2,000 square foot 3-bed in these areas. And I think there's a huge demand for these kind of spaces. Yeah. I mean, look at even Business Bay, for instance, right? There's so many properties, but if it's an end user wanting to live there, there are very few choices of buildings you have where you'll find apartments which are actually for an end user.
Yeah.
Which are, because a 2-bed, you need to have 1,200-1,300 square foot if it's an end user. And what is happening is people aren't realizing that even if it's a tenant, right? A tenant is a user, right? So if they're living there, maybe for 2 years, 3 years, whatever number of years, they still need a good space. So not everybody is going to be happy with a small apartment.
We've had a few presentations recently by some new developers coming to the market, and they're building some very high-end apartment buildings in downtown and in Business Bay. And we've been talking about this massive outdoor areas, big terraces, even got swimming pools, and we were talking big money, but they're coming. They're definitely coming because that's the demand. People who are relocating here, they might have lived in the centre of London or some other big city in the world, and now they're looking at large apartments, but they want that outdoor space.
And I'd say a trend I've seen, and I've seen it much more recently. There's buyers, and I never used to get this type of buyer. It's the buyer. So they're an investor, but they're also an end user. Yes. And effectively, what they want to buy their 6-month-a-year apartment. Yes. So, for instance, I would happily sell them something in the marina, for example. Yeah. So now it's not like I want the best investment to make money. I think Dubai is a pretty good investment. All my mates seem to be doing it, buying their apartments or villas or whatever to have their 6 months in the winter sun. Yes. I'm going to do that. And that, I think it's going to increase and increase and increase. And we're going to have a massive winter market here.
So it's not a holiday home anymore. It's an extended home.
It's your second home. Second home.
Yeah. And then the whole thing switches. You don't if you live in Dubai and you work in Dubai, you don't live in the marina. If you want to spend your time in Dubai and just relax and do nothing and not have to use a car, you live in the marina.
Yeah.
So, it's great for some, not for others.
Yeah.
So then we're looking at Kempinski, Six Senses.
Yeah.
What else is there in the marina that you would recommend at the moment?
There's barely anything coming there.
No.
I think now it's just
it's almost full.
Almost full.
Yes. Anyway, so Shall we ask Tahir a little bit about what he's up to?
Yes,
in
why
terms
not?
of your business. So yes, Tahir, tell us. They all know us; they're bored with us. Tell us a bit about you and what you're doing here in Dubai. I know you've got your own real estate company.
Yeah, I mean,
You said the
I
word
have
boutique, which I hate, but carry on.
No, so
Tell me
the
about
thing is,
boutique.
we're a small company, okay.
Yes.
And the thing is, when I started, right, I started the company to basically just do my own business, okay. And I had like 2 people in my office, an admin, 1 photographer, a small office. But what happened is, especially with social media, I started getting so many inquiries that I just couldn't handle it. And then I was like, I kept on managing whatever I could for a year. And then after that, I was like, I need to have people. So I started, I said, okay, let me have like 3-4 people who could just take care of these leads and let them just, close business. And so I started with 3-4 people in the company, and that went well. So I said, okay, I need more people, because I was then generating more inquiry. So slowly, we've grown to now about 19, 20 people in the organization overall. We added more admin, more marketing, more support. So yeah, I'm growing.
So what's the goal?
Sorry?
How many people?
Look, I don't have a goal in terms of number of people, but what my goal is that all my agents should make money and they should be happy.
Yes.
That's the most important thing, because just having 100 people in the office and only 10 making money doesn't make sense. I rather have 10 in my office and all of them making money. So that's the goal. And then, I'm also doing 2 small villa developments in Nadal Shiva Garden. So that's
Tell us about
going
that.
on.
What's going on there? When you say you're doing them, are they yours?
Yes, me and my partner, sir.
Your partner, as in Shard?
You're developing?
Yes. 2 villas, independent villas.
Really?
Yeah.
And just for GCC or for anyone?
No, freehold.
Whereabouts?
In Nadal Shiva Gardens.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Tell us about that.
So yeah, 2 villas.
So you bought the land. How long ago did you buy the land?
This was quite a long time back in 2019, 20.
Good time to buy.
Yeah. So we're doing 2 villas. They're both plots of 5,000 square foot each. Independent villas. So 2 plots next to each other, 5,000 square foot each, built up of around 6,200, 5 beds with maids, driver room, and So we're hoping to complete by
and
the end of the year.
you're doing that to live in, or are you going to sell them?
Are you hands on with this project?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Is it stressful?
Not really. Sometimes it could be, but it's okay. I mean, if you know,
I take my hat off to anyone who can develop, like someone who doesn't do it as a living to develop.
Did you do that in India?
Yeah, I've done that in India.
You've done it before.
And and I've assisted a few people here as well. So it's more for passion, and now that what happens when you see so many houses and you know what's good, what's not good. So then you really enjoy when you're creating something.
You want your 2 to be the best. It's
Yes,
like,
so and then you see a lot of people make mistakes. So then okay, you don't want to do this. So yeah.
And how big are they going to be?
They're 5 bedrooms, 6,200 square foot built up.
How big a plot?
5,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
What are you going to sell those for?
we still haven't thought about it. But
Yes, you have.
No, the thing is, I'll tell you what,
Don't be silly. You must have thought about it.
What happens when we started work last November.
Right.
Okay. And when we started, at that time, the villas there were selling for around 10 million. And we thought that because of our design and finishes and all, we should achieve somewhere around 12. Right now, when I go in the market, all the people who are building there, they're all asking anywhere between 12 to 15.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Though I haven't seen a transaction happen at 15. So we're like, okay.
Has anybody finished a villa around
Yeah,
there?
there are quite a few people who finished and some really nice ones coming into the market. And I think, we would be done in the next 5 to 6 months before the end of the year. So once we're closer to the, finishing date, that's the time we'll actually see what's going on in the market.
Great.
Yeah.
Very
Very
good.
good. Lovely. Well, I do believe that we're nearly up with our time now.
Really?
Stephen and
That's
Tahir.
sad.
Yes, I know it is sad.
Well, you can leave.
It's
Tahir and I.
you two can chat for as long as you like.
I'm having an interesting conversation.
You're more than welcome.
I would like to ask you something, Paul. What do you
Yes.
think of Dubai South and the new airport coming up?
My honest opinion is I think that with the amount of land they've got there, which they're going to be able to use, and with the airport, I am a very, very strong believer that is where the smart money is going to go over the next few years. I think that they're Sheikh Mohammed is massively invested just in Expo. Then you've got the airport next to it. Then you've got all the stuff Emaar are doing. Yeah. So to me, that means that Sheikh Mohammed and all his advisors, they are completely invested in that area.
But if you take Emaar out of the equation, you take Expo out of the equation, if you look at what's actually being built there so far, I don't think there's anything of repute as far as I can see. Can you? Is there anything? Maybe I've missed something.
No, but it's brand new, isn't it?
It's brand new.
No, there's been doing it for quite some time.
I mean, there was the Palm Jebel Ali, which sat there.
I'm talking about.
What, you mean the waterfront? And
no.
Jebel
in
Ali
Dubai
downtown.
South. In Dubai South, there are buildings that have been there for 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, look, I would say those buildings are not that great.
No.
But Dubai South, the where you have South Bay and South Living,
Right.
I think that area is probably going to be like, because I've been there recently quite a few times. I think that's what is like a future JVC kind of an area.
Yeah,
right.
Because when you go there, you get the same feeling if someone went to JVC 10, 12 years back.
So it's value. It's value.
It's because see, look, again, if you want to have anything around the new airport, today Expo, the cheapest one bed is 1.8 million onwards, right? 1.8, 1.9. So, and Emaar South, again, anything new coming in is 3-4 million plus, unless they come up
For a
with something.
townhouse.
The villas, townhouses.
Yeah.
The townhouses also recently, which Emaar's come up with, again, the price points, even the new launch of Damak. So there's nothing for someone who wants to spend 1 million dirhams or 1.5 million dirhams. So I think that's going to be the area where I think there are a lot of, new private developers will come up with options where people who want to invest in that area, they'll probably get a chance. Yes,
Devil's advocate here. Devil's advocate. Historically, I'm from London. You're from London. Would you purposely live near an airport? And I know the answer. I've got the answer, but you carry on. You tell me.
My answer would be yes, I would. But like, for instance, the current Dubai International Airport is 3 miles from Deira. So it's literally in the centre of Dubai.
Yes.
Now the new airport is 27 square miles. So the runways are in the middle.
Yes.
So you're never actually going to be that close to the incoming planes, which are going to be coming in from the sea. So
this is the thing. I was there recently with a client, and he had the same thing that it'll be too noisy. And if you see all these communities which are coming, they're not in the way of the flight path.
No, of course.
They are, so you're not going to face any.
I think also what's happening there is it's not just residential that's going on there. There's going to be a whole support system for the airport. It's massive. Look, warehousing.
Can you imagine the amount of people the airport's going to have to employ?
I was talking to someone this morning in the real estate industry, and what he told me is that within Expo City itself, they have about 1 million square foot commercial, which they'll start leasing now.
Really?
Okay. They have, so imagine, right? Okay.
In Expo City itself?
Expo City itself, there's a lot of commercial spaces which they will come to lease
completed now. Or they're building
they're
new?
In progress, in phases. We already know that Emirates is moving their headquarters there. Dubai, DP World is moving.
Energies,
other companies.
Siemens.
Siemens. Yeah. So there'll be more companies which will be moving.
And it's a free zone.
Yeah, and so people will need places to live there.
Yeah. No, I agree. But a lot of people have questioned, why would I want to live near an airport? But actually, there's a lot of other things.
And the other thing as well, we haven't mentioned, obviously, is the big Palm Jebel Ali, which I'm absolutely convinced that is where they're going to have the big first Dubai casino, because that is what Palm Jebel Ali needs.
And you heard it here first.
It's going to be there. It's going to be. It's got to be, isn't it? They've got the land. They've got to fill it up, and that is where New Dubai is going.
So what's going to happen to Russell Kamer?
Don't ask me. Anyway, that has been absolutely fantastic. I want to say thank you very much to Tahir for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been brilliant. Very much enjoyed. We've all learned a lot, I think, and shared opinions. It's quite nice actually that we share sort of a lot of the same opinions, which is probably a good sign, really, that we're on the same page. So thank you very much, and see you again soon. Thank you very much. Cheers, Tahir. Cheers, Stephen.
Thank you.